Joining me now, RNC Chief Strategist and Communications Director Sean Spicer. Hey, Sean, the only two who aren't surprised that you're back this week are the two of us. I'm glad to see you. I hope you didn't bring me any coal.
I never would. Thank you for having me, Michael.
So yesterday, President Obama vowed retaliation against Russia and Vladimir Putin. Will President-elect Trump carry that out when he's president?
Well, I think to presume that he's going to do anything at this point would be premature. He's not president yet. President Obama has every right to carry out the duties that he sees fit based on the information that he has through the rest of his term.
Okay, but things have changed since we were last together. Now you've got the CIA and the FBI reading from the same hymnal. So the intelligence community is uniform. It seems like everybody sees this the same way except the incoming president.
Well, again, and I think one of the things that we have to just sort of bifurcate is, did Russia or other entities try to probe websites and extract data, et cetera? And were they successful? In other words, did they have any impact on the election? One of the things that we need to make sure we're clear about when we talk about this is that there is no evidence that the outcome of the election was changed. And I'll tell you why this is important. A week before the election, the Department of Homeland Security called us, the DNC, and the various campaigns to meet with them. And they wanted us to understand that because of the way that we as Americans vote, i.e. that there are disparate voting systems throughout the country. Some people vote with paper ballots, some use machines. At no time are they ever connected to the Internet, if you will, and there's no way, except for downloading results at the end, in some cases, that there's any way to change the outcome of the election. And they asked us, could we stand in unison together and make sure that we reinforced to all Americans that the integrity of our voting systems and our outcomes were sound. And now it seems as though they've shifted that tune. And it's interesting how prior to the election, when everybody thought that Hillary Clinton was clearly going to be the winner, they wanted everybody to sit and sing Kumbaya about the integrity of our voting systems. Now that Donald Trump has shown that he won resoundingly, it's interesting how that tune has changed. And I think it's sad because there's a difference between whether or not we should be concerned that entities, foreign or otherwise, tried to hack systems or what have you, and whether or not they were successful. And what's happening is that some folks in the media and a lot of Democrats have now changed the tune that they had prior to November 8th.
Okay, I feel like I should be saying serenity now. I feel my blood pressure rising again because Sean Spicer seems to be saying it's dependent upon whether Russia altered the outcome. And I don't agree with that.
No.
Actually,
I'm sorry. Right. No. But just to be clear.
Go ahead, finish.
I understand that that entities try to probe and different sites. That we do that. Other entities do that. We all understand. That's why we take precautions IT-wise to prevent it. But I think there's a big difference between our entities trying to probe different websites and are they actually having an impact on the outcome of an election. And the problem is that people are conflating those two issues into one, and they are very different.
But let me be clear on something. It's unknowable whether the outcome of the election was altered by virtue of the Russian hack. I mean, what was it? 80,000 votes in 3 swing states changed the course of the White House. She won the popular vote, I need not remind you. Who's to say how many Sanders people weren't pissed by the revelations about what went on in the DNC with Debbie Wasserman Schultz having her thumb on the scale and decided to sit out where they otherwise would have voted for Hillary? You and I could never know that. I just want to be clear that I think we need to be uniform as Americans. Wait, final thought. We need to be uniform as Americans against Putin and Russia, regardless of whether they were ultimately successful in electing Donald Trump.
But one of the things, Michael, that has been devoid of any of this conversation, you talk about what we know and what's certain based on what you guys hear and leaks in third-party sources. This is what the Director of National Intelligence, James Clapper, said in open testimony to the House of Representatives. As far as the WikiLeaks connection, the evidence there is not as strong, and we do not have good insight into the sequencing of the releases or when data may have been provided. We don't have good insight into that Full end of quote. So you all want to talk in the media about these anonymous sources. That's what the Director of National Intelligence said on the record to the House Intelligence Committee. So why is that not part of the conversation that you want to have?
You've made it part of the conversation. I think we know more today than when Clapper said what he said, because as we are here on this Saturday, the president, the FBI, the CIA, Clapper, the entire intelligence community is lockstep in saying that Vladimir Putin tried to alter the outcome of the American presidential race. And I simply want to know, you can have the final word, what's the new guy, the president-elect, going to do about this when he takes office? That's my question. What's he going to do?
Right. But as President Obama said yesterday, that to discuss what would happen, and he made it very clear that he's not going to disclose how or when America's going to act. And I think I would agree with President Obama on that, and it would be very, very inappropriate for President-elect Trump to discuss that at this point as well.
Merry Christmas. Let your boss know it's okay to say it here. Got no issue with that, okay? Thank you, Sean.
Merry Christmas. Thank you, Michael.